Oh, well. Oi, Vivi. Oh, awkward. Oh, it's muggy. Oh, that'll do. Okay, what's next? Into the granny trolley. that's interesting. Right. So, let's get comfy. Whoa. Wobbly stool. The priority today is, as I mentioned in that previous video, is just to rescue what I can by way of the harvests. I mean, these, to be honest, so many of these blueberries have really, bleh. They've gone over, they've gone to mush, but whizzed up in a smoothie or whizzed down into a coulis, they'll be fine. So having taken off the tulle that's been protecting them from the birds, there's a really stark contrast between these two plants. This one at the front, the berries are really quite shriveled. The leaves are turning, the leaves are dropping already. The plant behind, this one, I don't know if you can make out, it's really lush, green, juicy growth still. The berries themselves are much plumper, fat and juicy still. I think it's purely down to the simple fact that this one's got, the juicy one has got a much bigger pot than this one in front. Now, although, as we all keep saying, it has been really quite a wet summer, even so, you can see on a day like today the sun is coming out. It obviously has been drying out quite quickly. So, currently I've got a matching big pot over there with my sweet peas in. Harvest my seed today too. Yeah, today's all about just rescue, then start to think about the work. So what I think I'm going to do, bite the bullet, I'm going to get another little sack of ericaceous compost and get this one that's in the small pot into a much bigger pot. It makes sense because it's such a lovely harvest. When I get it on time, I'm going to be really good and not eat any of these as I do it. I'm going to try not to. It makes sense to, give it the big pot, give it the money in terms of the ericaceous compost as opposed to the sweet peas. I love sweet peas, but I don't eat them. So yeah, spend the money where the food is. Just taken out the spuds. That was the new potatoes, variety Charlotte this year. Really lovely yield from each plant, happy with that. They're not for long-term storing. For now I've put them in the Hessian sack, but actually when I get them home I will transfer them into really thick paper sacks so no light can get in. Store them outside of my flat where it's cool. Like I say, they're not really for long-term storage. I will probably eat them over the course, so we're right at the end of August. So now, throughout September, first 2 weeks of October, maybe to the end of October, by which time my main crops will be coming out. I mean, there is a ton of fruit here. But, like I say, on this front plant, the juiciness difference is very, very obvious. But hey, the tool worked to keep the birds off and others. Okay, well, it's a little bit fiddly. It's going to take me a while, so I will see you shortly somewhere else in the garden. It's not a particularly warm day. Oh, the sun's coming out. It isn't particularly warm today. It's about, 22 degrees. But it's so damp. Everything is so damp that it feels really quite humid. Ay caramba. I'm in the gloaming today. That was actually quite a nice little harvest of blueberries, better than I was expecting, yay, with some of the really tiny little shriveled up ones. I've left them on the plants, the birds can have them. Now, I'm over here in the remaining tomato bed. Timeline. 2 weeks ago, I removed all the foliage. So 2 or 3 weeks ago, I removed all the foliage from all the plants. Left them standing. A week ago, I think it was a week ago, I saw blight had got into the stems in the Gardener's Delight. So I've taken as much fruit as I could off home. We'll have a look at that later. I'll try and remember. To hopefully ripen at home. Left the Rose de Berne and the Amish paste standing. However, I've noticed that there's blight in their stems now as well, so I'm just going to tip you down. So again, this is Harvest Rescue. I'm literally now just going to take off all these bunches of fruit. Hope that the blight hasn't got quite into the fruit. Oh, some has dropped. That's had a nibble. It's had a bit of a nibble, but I might take it home and save half of it. Yeah, just get all the fruit off now. Get it home. Hopefully it will ripen without any blight coming out, showing itself. Some of it is on the way to ripening. Oh, you're at a funny angle, aren't you? Hang on a tick. That's a bit better, I hope. In terms of so I'll have to remove these plants, get them removed, destroyed, off-site, and then in terms of all the poles, I haven't taken any of the poles out yet, because, oh la la, I need to go shopping. I need to go shopping for some tea tree oil because I don't have any at the moment. So I'll get my tea tree oil and use it to make up a little cleaning solution, so that when I take the poles down, I can give the poles a really good wipe over. Now, the thing is, I don't know how long blight spores can live on a surface like the bamboo poles, in terms of how long they can live on it. Will they live on it till next year? But even if they wouldn't live till next year, my thinking is get the poles cleaned anyway, and also because if there are blight spores on there, they could still blow around and land in someone else's garden. I don't know if anyone's got any tomatoes left now, but I don't want to risk it. Oh, and a few tucked in the beans there, they're a bit tricky. But yeah, that's, oh my goodness, that's a lot of, well, that represents, I reckon, about a third of what I would normally hope for. But it's, oh, I think that one's going to come off. But yeah, so even though it's hardly anything compared to previous years, if I can rescue this lot, I'll be really, really happy. Oh. Well, this should be comedy gold. Oh my goodness. So, courgettes. Now, actually the wind is picking up a bit. Let me do this and we'll talk about this back at the shed and why I'm doing it. Maybe I can chat if I bring you closer, yes. Okay, so obviously this Courgette Harvest has, a snail, massively got away from me. Like I said, with these really big ones, never mind, I shall just cook up vats and vats of my lovely courgette soup, which honestly it doesn't sound like much, but I know a few of you have tried it and really, really love it. It is gorgeous. So I'm not bothered about all these massive ones. However, what I'm hoping, there are some more flowers coming. What I'm hoping by getting, there you are, by getting these off today is it will encourage the plants to put out some more fruits. Oh, look, didn't get a suntan on that side. Yeah, it will encourage the plants to keep putting out, and hopefully I'm at a stage now where, you know, I can try to keep on top of the harvest. I'm going to have to go around the other side for that big whopper. So is that, oh, and yes, a normal sized one. Let's have you off because you'll be nice for my dinner tonight. Hurrah, one normal sized courgette. Okay, I need to go around the other side. Oh my goodness. Well, in all honesty, I'm in the cucumbers now. I think I completely lost this fight, if it's a fight. So, I mean, they're just yuck, beyond it, compost. However, exactly like with the courgettes, take them off to encourage new ones to grow. That one, there may be some which are still, you know, edible, good enough for a smoothie. I am going to be leaving, oh yeah, a couple on there. That looks lovely. Leave on for seed saving. So I've got 2 lots in here because I've got the seeds I started at home, and then I thought they were going to be rubbish, so oopla, I direct sowed a load in front, which all came up, and they're giving me nice little ones, which makes me think maybe I should just direct sow each year. And they were quite late, so for example, if my tomatoes had survived, it would be perfect timing for cucumber and tomato salad, which is what I've been aiming for all along this year. Oh my giddy goodness. I can see new little uns forming. So yeah, it's a good job to get these all off today. Like I said, compost for quite a few of them. Never mind. And I can find the snails while I'm in here. I don't know how I'm going to get to the ones behind the frame though, because the squash have taken over. Yay for squash. Oh dear, I really hope I haven't missed the boat with this job. Broad bean seeds. And I need to lift the nets up anyway to give the plants more space. So, oh my goodness, weeds, grassy edges. Never mind. Let me just bring you in here a bit. Can you see? Oh, let me tip you down a bit. This is what I'm after. And I can see some of them have burst open and gone on the ground. So, gently does it. Oh! I think I'm going to get on the ground too. Whoopla! Down. Will I ever get up again? Yeah, you can see, obviously, that pod is very, very dry. It's so dry it's disintegrating. So I'm going to look carefully. Oh my goodness, these weeds. Yeah, I know I just yanked the top off that. I didn't get its roots. Going in for the roots is for another day. Precious, precious broad bean seed. So, if you remember back in, I think it was the end of May when I harvested, beginning of June, I selected my 3 best plants for seed saving. One of the plants had the absolutely ginormous, like over a foot long pods in some cases with huge beans in them, and I've cooked with a few of those really big ones and they were fine. So when I come to, thinking about that now, I'll get a separate bowl or basket. I'm just collecting them all up in this little basket where they can't drop out. When I collect those really big ones from the other side of this bed, I will keep them separate so that when I plant them or sow them in the autumn, I'll sow them in a separate row to see if when they grow there's much difference, and if they grow huge like they did this year, bit of selective breeding, if you like. I will aim, there's one under there, when I'm doing my seed saving or identifying the plants, I'm always aiming for about 100 seeds in the hopes that I can plant, anywhere between sort of 60 and 80 broad bean plants each year. Oh, one fell. Where is it? Precious, precious seed. Knocked the whole lot over. This year, though, I've actually planned in my saving for a few extra, because some of these are going to be given to Paul for him to put in his autumn garden. Hello! I'm gathering up my saved broad bean seed.
Your what, sorry?
I'm gathering up my saved broad bean seed.
Oh, well done.
Rather late, considering all this rain.
Yeah.
Better late than never.
Yes.
Okay, the bean seed is out, so now I'm just going to try and raise my hoops up. In order to raise the nets, but of course, sods all, the ground is like concrete again. Despite all the rain. Will that do it? Some of these pipes have got little bits of metal spikes in the end, which makes it a bit easier, but that's not going to go in, is it? Look, it'll do for now. It's one of those things. Everything needs way more attention than I can give it at the moment. So, yeah, bare minimum. But whilst the nets are off, let me give you a closer look at the kale. Cat and then kale. Hello, little shadow. I've missed you this summer. Right, let's leave him to primp and preen. But yes, so this is the red curly kale, mostly. It's looking great. I'm definitely going to be able to start harvesting. You can see the leaves. It's been really, really crushed against the nets. But yeah, given a bit more space now. Some of the lower leaves, they're looking a bit manky. Fine, I can have those off. Have I got some whitefly in there? Obviously there's a couple of little gaps where I had the broad beans, but that's, this is plenty. I think there's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, about 12 plants in here. That's plenty for me. And then on the end, and it's really, really squashed. Oh, poor thing. This is my second Portuguese cabbage from Paul, the Cove Tronchuda. So yeah, I'll get it all covered back in the nets for now. And then generally what I do, I keep an eye out now for the demise of the cabbage white butterflies. It's kind of usually as we go into October. Once I notice that they're not around, I keep an eye out for a sort of week or so and think, right, they haven't shown themselves for a week or so now. and at that stage I just take all the nets off and leave them off for the rest of the year. For now, I need to get the nets back on. Okay, so this is where I'm at so far. That's the small broad beans, big broad beans in the bucket. Nice blueberries, quite a few in there, nice little harvest. Cukes that are edible now, cukes that are massive, and I'm going to chop them up and freeze them. Yes, they'll turn to mush when they come out of the freezer, but turning to mush is fine because they go in smoothies rather than compost them. Rescued rose de Berne and Amish paste. Oh, fingers crossed, please, please, please. A nice chunk of bunch of beetroots. Oh, that colour. Ormy, lovely, really beautiful, beautiful Charlotte potatoes. The courgettes. You know what? I've got 6 of these massive ones, and each one does about 6 portions of soup. I think I'm going to be having courgette soup every day for a year. I shan't complain. It's all food, isn't it? So, now though, let me point you up here. Oh, the sky is turning very black. I don't know if you can get a sense of it. So I'm going to quickly whiz inside the shed because we are due an absolute downpouring apparently. Wow, it just went really dark and then the heavens opened. I'm a bit drippy. So, yeah, that's what I've picked so far today. The other big pick I was going to do today was beans. Starting at the bottoms of the plants, I'm talking the climbing beans. Starting at the bottom, just pick off the whole sort of bottom row, as it were. I'm still getting flowers. Let's encourage some more beans. This would all be for podding, for the beans inside, where they're just starting to get plump enough now in that bottom layer to be worth harvesting. However, I haven't done that today because just looking at that mountain of food I've amassed on the table, of course, I need to get it all home, don't I? I need to get it all home and processed. I'm not going to be able to get all that home in one go, so I will leave in the shed the tomatoes. Hopefully they can continue to ripen in here. I will leave, I think, about half the spuds and half the courgettes. I'm hoping over the coming week now to be able to get down here at least 2 or 3 more times. So I'll leave a few bits in the shed. So it's not just a case of getting things home, carrying them home, but then once I get home, it's hours and hours and hours in the kitchen. I mean, I know it doesn't look like a lot, but that is a lot of food. And by the time it's all cooked and made into stuff or chopped up, frozen, what have you, it's quite a few hours, but quite a few meals. I'm really pleased to get that done today. Oh yeah, sorry, just back to the beans very quickly. The Rocking Core, which is the bush bean, the yellow waxy pod, and the Helder, one of my climbers. They're the only 2 beans I grow for eating the whole pod. However, I've missed the boat with them. I've definitely missed the boat with them both. The first sowing of Rocking Core I did are already dry and rattling nearly, so that could be my seed saving. The second 2 rows of Rocking Core that I did as a succession about 3 or 4 weeks later, I can feel it, those pods are tough already. So I think with both the Rocking Core and the Helder, I'm going to just say, you know what, I've missed my window of opportunity for harvesting the pods. I'm just going to leave them now for A, seed saving, and B, for dried beans. You know, I find it preferable to store my beans wet in the freezer. It's just, you know, much quicker and easier for cooking. However, there's no point today stressing and getting my knickers in a twist about, can I rescue these? Is it too late? It's definitely one of those years of going, you know what, just leave it, forget it. And on that subject, just then I was sort of shouting over to my neighbours who spotted me crouched sitting on the floor amongst my kale broad bean seed saving. Haven't seen them for ages. So obviously turn the camera off and have a good catch-up chat. I've just lost my train of thought completely. Yeah, I don't know what I was going to say. Anyway, it was lovely to see them. Lovely to catch up. Oh yes, that's right. They too, like all my friends, are teasing me, noting that my grass edges aren't sharp, that I've got weeds. Yes, I've got weeds in the garden. It's all gentle teasing. I don't mind it at all. But the fact that people are noticing, and it sounds like thunder, it's not. Someone's coming with a wheelie bin. This is being a real lesson for me this year to just try and dampen down that OCD in me, which is rising. That's Rusty wobbling you. It's just there all the time of, pull those weeds out, trim that grass. I really, really want to tackle that. But the food production, getting the next lot of brassicas in, etc., looking after the plants I have got, that is obviously my priority. If I can squeeze a bit of extra time somewhere, I don't know where, I don't know how, then yeah, I will tackle the weeds. But you know what? Life is teaching me yet another lesson that, I mean, look, come on. I'm not stupid. Having weeds, I know it's not the end of the world. Of course it's not. But if you are of my inclination, that OCD about it, it is really, really, really bothersome and it uses up a lot of energy. So I'm trying to just dampen that down and say it doesn't matter. Never mind. In the same way that some people, you know, they need to dust their home every day, or they need to, I don't know, sterilise their kitchen every day. You know, I don't. That I'm completely fine with, in the same way that some people are completely fine with a few weeds here and there. Yeah, what a lesson. Anyway, this rain, apparently, I didn't know it was forecast today. It's supposed to be settled in for the afternoon. Not heavy rain at all. The kind of rain that I would kind of quite happily carry on and work in. But I know the work ahead of me in dealing with everything I've harvested today. So for now, I'm going to call it quits. Get as much of this gorgeous stuff home this afternoon. I don't know what the time is. Oh my goodness, gone 2. Get this lot home and just start cooking, start chopping, start freezing, start spreading things out to, well, spread the tomatoes out in here for ripening, etc. It's been a nice session. It's Sunday today, so way back at, I don't know, it was about 10 o'clock this morning when I was first starting in on the potatoes. There wasn't a soul around. It was so quiet. I could hear the church bells. Just beautiful. And it's the perfect kind of day to sort of ease me back into this gardening life, and just, yeah, the quietness in a way, it sort of, it quietens down this, especially the weeds and the grass. Yay for harvest. I mean, there's so much more to pick out there, so much more. It will now be literally every time I come to the garden, I'll be picking something or other, getting it home, getting it either cooked and frozen or just frozen or whatever it is. But yeah, where are we? I think it's about the 21st, 22nd of August. No, it must be about the 23rd. I don't know, it doesn't matter. But we're now getting to that time of year when every time we come to the garden, we pick, we harvest, we go home, we preserve. And dream of cosy winters with our big bowls of steaming, yummy soup. I'm getting hungry. All right, lovelies. I will see you all really soon. I think again in the garden. Until then, please look after yourselves. Look after your precious harvests. If you do nothing else in the garden at the moment, do your harvesting and your preserving, because that's what all the work has been for, isn't it? So yeah, don't leave things as long as me. And if you do, get rescuing. Cheerio, everyone.